Hey friends! Today I'm going to talk about antisocial personality disorder, the criteria to meet it, and kind of what it is. So stay tuned! Hey, welcome back everybody! If this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. I hope you love it. If there are any videos that you're like, hey girl, I'd like to know a little more about these, drop a couple comments below and let me know what that is. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up so I know to keep doing videos like this. I try to do videos for a variety of populations surrounding like mental health in real life. So my videos are for general public, for other therapists, for foster parents, for moms like me. So I'll also do some military videos. I'm in the military, so just kind of stay tuned. And like I said, if you have recommendations, throw them down below and I will do my best to meet them. So today, antisocial personality disorder. So we are going to start by talking about what it looks like, what antisocial personality disorder looks like, and some of the requirements to be diagnosed with it. So let's go! So the first diagnostic criteria is that it is a pervasive pattern of disregard for and violation of the rights of others. And this has to occur since the age of 15, as indicated by 3 or more of the following. I'm going to go over 7 criteria. You must meet 3 of these to be diagnosed with this disorder. Okay, so stick with me in this. 3 of these 7 criteria. So the first one is failure to conform to social norms with respect to lawful behaviors, as indicated by repeatedly performing acts that are grounds for arrest. It doesn't mean you're arrested. It means that you're doing things which are illegal and you could get arrested for. So disregarding social norms with respect to lawful and unlawful behaviors, okay? So for example, if somebody's repeatedly driving under the influence, that's an illegal behavior. They may not have gotten arrested for it, but they're consistently driving under the influence, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, deceitfulness as indicated by repeated lying, use of aliases, or conning others for personal profit or pleasure. So this could come in like a variety of ways, but some of the ways that I'm thinking of right off the top of my head are lying to other people so you get money, when in fact that's not true. So you've heard of people where they like set up GoFundMe pages for this person who has an illness, but this person doesn't have the illness and or the money's not going to them. So that's a way to get money by conning others. Repeated lying, so and that's for like your benefit. So let's just say I'm in a relationship with a girl and they ask me if I'm dating somebody else or I saw somebody else, and I repeatedly lie about that because I know it's going to ruin my relationship, right? So it's me lying or doing things against other people to get what I want. Like my needs are what I'm trying to meet at that time. So that's number 2. Impulsivity or failure to plan ahead. So that could be a variety of things, but let's just say, for example, a person who's meeting this criteria, they might get paid on this date and they decide that they really want a new stereo system, so they go and buy that, but aren't planning ahead for how they're going to feed the kiddos in their house, or how they're going to pay daycare, or how they're going to pay their cell phone bill or their electricity bill. It is like impulsiveness and not planning ahead for that. So that's number 3. Number 4, irritability and aggressiveness as indicated by repeated physical fights or assaults. And so that's kind of self-explanatory, right? Like impulsive, quick physical fights, aggressiveness. So that could be physical fights with, like I'm a girl, so other girls, physical fights from boys to boys. It could be physical fights in my relationship, in my intimate relationship. So aggressiveness in that way. That's number 4. Number 5, reckless disregard for safety or self of others. So that can go back to like the driving under the influence that we talked about. That could go to using drugs. That could go to caring for children and driving quickly with them in the car, not putting them in car seats. That reckless, quick caring about, like, I want to drive fast, so that's cool. The baby's in the back seat, they'll be fine. So that reckless, quick thinking, impulsive disregard for others. Consistent irresponsibility as indicated by repeated failure to sustain consistent work behavior or honor financial obligations. So an example of that would be people who have lots of jobs, or who discontinue going to their jobs quite often, and people who fail to honor their financial obligations. So the things like choosing not to pay for your cell phone bill, or choosing not to pay for whatever obligation you have, your car payment, things like that. And we're going to go into some of these just a little bit more in depth, of some ideas of what some of these might look like. Lack of remorse as indicated by being indifferent to or rationalizing having hurt, mistreated, or stolen from another. So an example of that would be, yeah, I stole that money from her, but she had it coming. Or, yeah, I stole that money from her, but she had a ton of it, so it doesn't matter. Or, yeah, I was drinking and driving, but at least I had fun. So that understanding of, I know why I did it, but who cares about the other people involved? And it's not that, like, who cares, it's that I, like, legitimately don't have the ability to see that or to think that in the other person. Okay? You have to be at least 18 years old to get this disorder. It's considered a personality disorder, and so it's something that has to be present during childhood, and also present in adulthood. So this can't be a disorder for a child. Oftentimes we see conduct disorder as a child if it looks similar to this, but antisocial personality disorder can't be diagnosed until the person is at least 18 years old. Excuse me. And then also there's evidence that a conduct disorder, these types of features, were present before the age of 15. Okay, so just as a reminder, guys, 3 or more of those need to be met in order to qualify for this diagnosis. Of those 1 through 7, the person has to be over 18, and there has to be evidence that this stuff was occurring prior to the age of 15, okay? I just want to go over, like, big picture what this could look like, or what some of the features might look like in an individual, okay? Kind of to help tease it out, I'm looking in our DSM-5, which is our diagnostical statistical manual to diagnose people. It's the requirements for what makes a diagnosis a diagnosis. And sometimes it can be hard to think in, like, those bullet terms like that. So I just kind of want to talk, like, big picture with this diagnosis, what that looks like. So, big picture-wise, antisocial personality disorder, the theme that you'll see throughout it is deceit and manipulation are kind of the, like, central focus of this person, to kind of get what they need, or they're longing for or searching for, okay? So deceit and manipulation are kind of at the core of a lot of the things you'll see this person with this diagnosis doing. Some examples of things is there's oftentimes things that this person could be arrested for, may not be being arrested for, but could be arrested for, that are a part of this diagnosis. So you'll see things like destroying property, harassing others, picking fights, stealing, pursuing illegal occupations, like they might sell drugs or illegally sell prescription medication. So you'll see some of the illegal acts interwoven throughout their life. You could even see things like selling properties illegally. They might be like high-level positions or look like high-level jobs and positions, but doing illegal things inside of there. Stealing money from their company, types of things like that. Also, oftentimes people with an antisocial personality diagnosis, they disregard wishes, rights, or feelings of others. And so, oftentimes we'll see things to do with sexual assaults inside of this, where they're wanting to have sexual intercourse and the wishes and the rights of the other don't matter. We'll see fights with this, physical fights. I want to fight you over that and your wishes don't matter. Oftentimes, individuals with this diagnosis are trying to obtain money, power, or sex. And so just kind of keeping that in the back of your mind. decisions are made spur of the moment, so very impulsive decisions without really forethought or consideration of the consequences in the future. And so this is how oftentimes this can get interwoven with like child abuse and neglect. Kids might be in the care of a person who has this, and they might appear dirty, their medical needs might not be met, things like that. And that's how they can kind of get interwoven, is that life is just kind of spur of the moment. So today, if the decision is to go do this, and there's not time for a bath. And so we see kind of that interwoven in there. And like failing to care for or to neglect a child, that puts the child in danger. So lots of how that kind of gets interwoven. When we talk about financial stuff, some of the things that we see in people who have this diagnosis are difficulties paying for child support or providing for a child that they're supporting, or failing to support other dependents on a regular basis, and having little remorse. And oftentimes blaming the victims, saying like that they're being foolish or helpless or undeserving, they had it coming their way, things like that. So overall, difficulty taking on responsibility for their actions and really placing blame on the opposite person that it's actually hurting. And so kind of by what I've said, this is a diagnosis that people can have a really tough time having and living stable lives. There's no medication for this diagnosis. There's not like a medication out there for a personality disorder. The number one predictor of success is actually therapy, and engaging in consistent long-term therapy for any personality disorder. Those are the recommendations for treatment. It's no wonder, kind of by hearing what I'm saying, is that oftentimes these are people who are incarcerated. The people who are incarcerated very likely have a much higher rate of having this diagnosis, because so many of the factors inside of this diagnosis regard illegal activity, not caring about others, and acting upon others to get what you want. So our prison systems have lots and lots and lots of people in them that meet criteria for this diagnosis. So if you guys have any questions on this diagnosis, let me know. Hopefully this helps to kind of tease out what this diagnosis is, what to look for in people if you are a clinician and you're diagnosing, but also if you're a regular person that isn't a clinician, thinking about kind of the people in your lives and who might fit that diagnosis. And at least for me, when I have the knowledge of these diagnoses, I'm able to kind of like, okay, so that's kind of what's going on in that person in my life, and that might be why they're struggling, or we see the same patterns all the time. You know, I hear all the time like, well, why don't they just make different choices, right? Well, with a diagnosis like antisocial personality disorder, it's not quite as simple as just making a different choice, right? Because I bet a lot of people, if it was that quick of like, hey, life would be successful if I just made this different choice, they probably would follow that, but it's not quite that simple and quite that easy. And treatment isn't just a quick take a pill and feel better. So hopefully this gives you guys a little bit of insight into what antisocial personality disorder is. If you have any questions, let me know. Drop a comment below for questions. Please remember to subscribe if you like my channel. It will help when you open up YouTube. It will start recommending some of my videos for you. If you want to know when I'm uploading videos, if you're like, hey, this girl's the bomb.com, I want to know when she is posting videos, click the little bell button beside the subscribe button, and that will like pop up on your phone, not like a text message. It won't like ding or anything, but it will pop up on your screen like how a text message does, and it will have like the little YouTube icon, and it will say like Brittany Schank uploaded a new video, and you'll be able to get notified that way that there's a new video uploaded that you can come on and watch. So let me know what you think. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great week. Bye-bye.